Are you optimistic for the future of amenity turf?
Yeah, well, definitely, because if we just look at regulatory requirements in isolation, when you have stiff regulation, that encourages companies like Bayer to innovate and produce products that surpass those requirements. So I think from greenkeeping as a whole, the education is far better now, and the levels of education are far better. The resources that are available to greenkeepers, turf managers in general, is far greater than it was, with the exception of some of those pesticides that we've already spoken about that have been removed from the market has created another issue for them to get around. But because they're better educated, there is better technology available, they're more savvy to getting around a problem and ultimately achieving the aim, which is a good, consistent playing surface. So I think that the future is bright, to say, to put it that way, for greenkeeping in general. There will be those hurdles to overcome. So better communication with the playing membership as to if there is a problem on a golf course, why that problem's there, what they're doing to resolve it, and what the anticipated outcome would be. And that's something that perhaps wasn't the case years ago. It was just members would walk up to a greenkeeper and say, "Oh, why is this a problem?" Whereas now, the modern day greenkeeper is on social media or on the golf course's internet or intranet, and proactively providing that information to the membership. And so I think that if we look at greenkeepers now compared to greenkeepers, well, when I first started greenkeeping, which was in the late 80s, the modern day greenkeeper is far more professional, and, as I say, better qualified. They're more switched on to alternative approaches to tackle a problem, not just blinkered in their approach. And the other thing that we have to recognise is that the expectations on a greenkeeper is far greater. The playing members aren't accepting of poorer quality surfaces. They see a professional tournament on the telly, and they sort of expect those conditions even at club level, local club level. So yeah, I'd say that everything in the future for greenkeeping is really good, definitely.
Peter, would you agree?
No, I very much agree. I'm very optimistic, going forward. I mean, I think obviously the game itself has also got to make sure that it's appealing to a wider range of the population. I think only concern I have a little bit with golf is obviously if you look at the player profile, I think golf itself needs to actually have a little think about what the modern generation want from a game. So that's one challenge. But in terms of creating the surface for them to play on, I'm very optimistic. But there aren't silver bullets. It's going to be a combination of all sorts of different factors and utilising all of those technologies that are available, whether that be weather stations, education, equipment, and the biological and the chemical options. So I'm actually optimistic, and I think going forward we can continue to improve.
Brilliant. Mark?
Well, being half Danish, I'm only cautiously optimistic. I think we've got two big, legislation and climate, two big challenges, and it's good that companies like Bayer are investing in new actives and still investing in our industry. I think if you look at the people who manage turf, you have, of course, that spectrum of competences, and some people are going to have to work harder. The sort of that or do mentality is not going to work anymore, because we are going to have to be more proactive in how we manage turf. We're going to have to be more switched on. The expectations are higher because the commerciality of producing a venue with good consistent surfaces 24/7, 365 days a year is very much there, and there's almost a competition. You know, if your surfaces are bad and the club down the road aren't, then you know there's with the nomadic golfer now, he's going to want to go and play where he gets the best surfaces for the most effective spend of his money or her money. So yes, I'm optimistic. Certainly on disease management, we're not in the nightmare scenario that we have been with insecticides, where we've just had no option, no solutions. We have some newer fungicide technologies. We also have some good things we can do culturally that do have a real impact on disease to minimise it. But you've got to make sure all of those are in place. You can't. We're not going to have the facility to put it right once it goes wrong. That won't be there.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you.